Thank you very much, Presiding Officer. And I'm going to cover a couple of areas which the committee has taken evidence on. I know that my colleague John Mason dissented in the report on areas around forecasting and holds some very strong views around this. I think those members on the committee will know that I expressed a number of reservations without going to the extent of dissenting, and I'll touch on that in my contribution. In terms of some of the discussion that there has been so far, I'm always interested in the world according to Jackie Baillie, because Jackie Baillie again held up the OBR as an example of an organisation to which we should aspire. She spoke of a lack of government interference or intervention, and she spoke of oil forecasting. So I wanted to look at a letter that the OBR sent to the committee itself in July 2014, and if I can quote from that letter: "Our medium-term forecast for oil and gas production is based on projections by the Department for Energy and Climate Change." That strikes me as the OBR relying on government projections and forecasting in order to facilitate its work. But later on in that, because we were told that because the Scottish Government was predicting $113 barrel for oil, that it was some sort of outlier in terms of the international projections around oil price. Later on in the letter, it says on prices, "In our central scenario, oil prices rise from $102 a barrel in 2015 to $160 a barrel in 2040. Under the EIA high price scenario shown above, oil prices rise from $138 a barrel in 2015 to $350 a barrel in 2040. And even later on it says that under the EIA low price scenario, it was predicting price drop to $77 a barrel in 2015. So the idea that the Scottish Government was way out left field in terms of oil price projections, and that there were this range of soothsayers out there who had correctly predicted what was going to happen in terms of oil price, simply doesn't bear scrutiny in any way, shape or form. If I can have a little bit of time back, I'll take the intervention, Presiding Officer.
You have to take it out of your own time.
Well, I'll talk fast then. Yeah.
I will indeed. I think the point I was making is perhaps nobody could have made that assessment and that judgment, and therefore somebody independent of government would instil more confidence, whether they get the actual thing right or not. And I just make the note that the OBR actually predicted a lower level than the Scottish Government did.
I'm quite sure, Presiding Officer, that were the projections that the Scottish Government used based on something that had been produced by the Scottish Fiscal Commission, Jackie Baillie would in no way whatsoever criticise or impugn those projections, as I know she would never seek to do that. Let's look at forecasting, Presiding Officer, because that's really where the sort of nub of the disagreement arises in this. And I share the reservations that John Mason has around this, and indeed that the Commissioners themselves have around this. Now, I hear the point that is being raised around the role that the Finance Committee could perform in terms of scrutiny, but I have some reservations around that itself. I don't think that I'm in a better position than Professor Andrew Hughes-Hallett to scrutinise forecasts that are made and to bring scrutiny to bear on those. What I do think is important, first and foremost, is that the projections are analysed and scrutinised and that we can have confidence in those projections. And I believe that when the Scottish Fiscal Commission provides its seal of approval in relation to those, I believe that is an important endorsement for those projections. I do believe, and listening to the evidence from academics who came before the committee, that there is a need for academic expertise and capacity to be built up in this area. And I think that as the powers come to this Parliament and as things develop, that is something that will happen and will enhance the work that is being done both by Scottish Government in terms of forecasting and also by the Commission in terms of analysis. But I think at this early stage, to give the Commission the responsibility for the official forecasts, while that other capacity does not yet exist, I believe would be jumping the gun in relation to that.